بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم 2 فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خاملون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين.
카메라가 ちょっと待ってくださいね。カメラはい。よいちょっと目がちょい聞こえてますか？カメラがはい。Alright, what was I saying? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, salamatu malamu. Or I guess it's morning, so salamat pagi. Alright. No, saya tidak bahasa Indonesia. Waalaikumsalam. Alright. So, let's just get right into it. We only have 1 hour. I already put 5 minutes to listen to Sheikh Saud al-Sharem. You know, I wonder if anyone knew what surah that was. If you knew, write it in the chat, the surah we listened to, the last 5 minutes. If you don't, that's fine. And let's get right into it. Last time we talked about literally the creation of everything, how humans were created, and the prophets all the way down to Abraham or Ibrahim alayhi salam. And we said that Ibrahim had a son called Ismail or Ishmael, and from that son, from his bloodline, from his descendants, was Prophet Muhammad, whose story is what we're focusing on right now. I also need to mention, I was going to skip over this, but I need to mention that extremely important story, which is the official creation of Mecca. Okay? You can speak any languages you want. Yes, I have that in the description. Yes, you can speak any languages you want, but I don't know. If I don't know what it means, then, you know, I'm just not gonna read it, because I don't know how to read it. You know, I'm not saying don't speak. I just said I can't speak. I'm the one who don't speak Indonesian. All right? Because some people start spamming after they don't see me replying to their, you know, language that I don't know. Anyways, as I'm saying, the event of the Luna. 1 second, be right back. Give me 1 second, she won't leave me alone. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Who's Luna? My niece. All right. Oh, my back hurts. Anyways, where were we? Yes, this is an important story. All right, but before we start, I'll have you know, chat, that there are 3 types. I don't want to get into it. I hate getting into it so much. But there are 3 types of God communicating with humans. All right, 3 types of ways for God to communicate with humans. Okay, not the Hololive Nuna. No, Hololive Nuna is 0 years old. This one is almost 3. Okay, so first is God sending, a messenger to convey his words. Just like when he sent the angels to Ibrahim, or when he sends Jibreel to Prophet Muhammad, right? He sends his angels to convey his word. 2, of course, there's also the most special way, which is God himself talking to you, but this only happened to 2 people, Moses and Prophet Muhammad, and no one else, okay? Number 2, Quran is considered from number 1, because, the Quran was his words conveyed by Jibreel. Jibreel was telling Allah's words in the shape of Quran, all right? The Quran is Allah's words. God's words are the Quran. So, number 2 is called ru'ya, and, well, ru'ya is basically having a dream, and like a very realistic dream. But the thing is, these dreams are only dreams, and like you call them a dream when you're not a prophet. If you are a prophet, then any dream you get is a direct order from God. If a prophet dreams about leaving his house to another place, then he has to do it. That's an order from God. That's not just a dream. No, it's an order from God, right? Prophets' dreams are all orders from God. Sorry. Oh my God. Astaghfirullah. God. There's only one God, right? Don't put an S to that word, right? And the last method is called inspiration, or ilham, which is a feeling in your heart that Allah puts in you so that you do the right thing, which happens to a lot of people. Sometimes someone who would be traveling, right? And then suddenly they feel like, oh man, I don't feel like this trip is going to be good. I don't want to travel anymore. And they go back home for no reason. They just feel like they can't leave. And what happens then? That plane that they were supposed to board becomes plane number 200 something Indonesian Airlines, and never comes back. It becomes a myth. That plane is just erased out of existence. It gets Thanos. And because قريب من شعور اللي يجمع استخارة, yes, something like that. Ilham يسمى. That's exactly what happened to Moses' mother when we talked about her. When she had that feeling that she should put her son on the river. Even though that makes no sense, but she had that feeling. Allah gave her that feeling so she can, so her son can be saved, Moses. Okay? And what happened here was that Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim, we said that he used to visit his son last time, right? He used to visit his son and his wife in Mecca, where people gathered and there were clans, and it started being a place for living because of all the people who stopped by to drink Zamzam and do some trades there, because it was an infinite source of water, and it still is an infinite source of water. And what happens next is that Ibrahim gets a dream. What's in that dream? It was a very, very straightforward dream, but the problem is, in that dream, Ibrahim slaughtered his own son, Ismail. All right, let's put it into perspective. Let's make it simple. Do you know what slaughter means? Slaughter is the word used when a human kills an animal, as in to like rip off the head of an animal. To yadhbah, dhabh, it means dhabh. Dhabh, what dhabh is, chat? He had a dream about slaughtering his own son. Of course, we already said prophets having a dream that is a direct order from God. There is no, but maybe it's not, maybe it is. No, it is 100%. Okay, 100% it is. And so he goes, and as he goes to visit his son, and he tells his son, because that's still his son. His heart hurts him, and he tells him, my son, like I've seen while I'm sleeping, I've seen a dream of me killing you. Do you know what Ismail says, his son? What do you guys think he said to him? Does anyone know the story or knows what, can imagine what, your father comes up to you, and tells you, I'm going to kill you. My God told me to kill you. Did he freak out? Did he run away? He said, يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Right? يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر. Do you know what يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر? It means, Dad, like father, oh father, do what you want. Do what you have been ordered to. Do you know what do what you've been ordered to means? It means that's it, do it. Like, kill me now, literally. افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين, as in I'll you will inshallah you will find out, as in like if Allah wills, you will find out that I'll be sabir. How do you say sabir in English? I completely forgot. I'll be patient. It's not patient then. It's more of I'll gaman suru. Ego de nandiyu no ego de hotto wasareta. Anyways, Ismail told him to do it. And so he was about to, and as he was swinging, and about to cut off his own son's head, Allah called out to him, يا إبراهيم قد صدقت الرؤيا. Right? وكذلك نجزي المحسنين. God called out to him in that moment and put, it was a miracle, of course, you can't really imagine how that worked. Put a sheep, in front of his blade instead. And so there was the custom of every Hajj, we have to do the biha, right? The what do you call it in English? I don't know. Udhiyah. That's not English. But anyways, that's where it came from. The thing that where people, slaughter sheep every single year, that's from there, from this story. Of course, that was a reward from God to Ibrahim. And after that, both Ibrahim and his son built Al-Kaaba with that story. And of course, after the Kaaba was built, Mecca was established. Like it was already becoming a city, and everyone, and specifically Abraham prayed that this place called Mecca will always be safe. And that one prayer till this day holds, and till the end of time will hold Mecca as one of the safest cities. More safest. There's only 2 places in the whole world that are protected from the dangers of Ad-Dajjal. Do you guys know who is Ad-Dajjal? Masih Ad-Dajjal. Does anyone know who that is? Because I don't know what his name is in English, but yeah, Dajjal, right? So this guy is the one-eyed non-believer, someone that Allah has given. Well, technically he doesn't have anything. Allah is making it look like he has any powers. He comes at the end of the end of time, and what does he do? He comes up to you, or to anyone, honestly. He comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, I'm your God." And if you say no, you're not, he splits you into halves, splits you open. Do you know what you mean by split you? You will be split open, and not only that, just to make sure that it's not an illusion, he will walk through you after you split, and then put you back. Do you know why he's doing that? Because he's testing your belief. He's testing, are you gonna break down and be like Dio? Even worse than Dio. Dio can't split you open, right? Without literally touching you. And If you believe in him, it's game over. And it really is one of the worst things that could ever happen. Yeah, he got that on his forehead, yes. But the idea is that he cannot enter 2 cities and only 2 cities. And of course, it's pretty obvious what these 2 cities are. That's Mecca and Medina. Mecca was giving protection by Ibrahim in his prayer, and Medina was giving protection by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in his prayer. So these 2 places are forever protected. They cannot enter, not Ya'juj and Ma'juj, not Masih ad-Dajjal. No one can do anything in these places. In fact, there has been tries to invade Mecca. In this book we'll read about them, but they all failed, of course. Spoilers alert. Anyways, where were we? So let's talk about the Hijaz. Let's talk. Should we talk about Hijaz? I think that's too much to talk about. All right. So now we're slowly getting more and more closer to the Al-Fil, yes, Hadithat Al-Fil. That's what that one. The Arabs, all right? The Arabs, most of the Arabs, especially the ones who are descendants of Ismail himself, Ishmael, and the ones who lived with him, has already followed Ismail, right? And followed the religion of his father, Ibrahim. And they worshipped Allah, okay? That's most of Arabs who lived around Ibrahim and especially Ismail. And always only worshipped one God for a long time until they forgot. Because do you know what does human mean in Arabic? In Arabic, the word human is named insan. Insan means what? Insan means the forgetful. سمي الإنسان إنسانا من النسيان. They were called nas, insan, because they forget a lot. It is part of our nature to forget. If humans didn't forget, then everyone could, memorize the whole Quran so easily. That's not how it works. We forget a lot. Forget so many things. And people eventually forgot. They forgot so many things. It's the fundamental things about the religion that Abraham came with, right? They completely forgot. And what's the worst thing that they forgot? They forgot about the I hate this word because I don't like, I forget how to say it. Monotheism, right? Tawheed. Monotheism. Yeah, monotheism. They forgot what monotheism was. And they slowly, for a lot of reasons, they slowly started worshipping other things, statues and other things that they come up with. And they said, well, if we worship this statue, it will bring us closer to Allah. They understood that Al-Kaaba, the one that were built by Ibrahim and Ismail, they understood that it was a holy thing. But they forgot the important stuff, that the fact that this holy thing that they're worshipping, Allah, God, is supposed to be, the only God, and you're not supposed to worship anyone else. Right? Isn't that I have a bad memory? It's just I'm peak insan. Monotheism. All right, wait. Let me. Monotheism. Pronunciation. Because I might have the worst pronunciation ever exist.
Monotheism.
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 Monotheism. Sorry. I'm bad. Leave me alone. Stop bullying me. It's a storytelling. It's not bullying stream. Monotheism. All right, here you go. You got it. It's not hard. Come on. Look.
Monotheism.
Monotheism. Everyone's saying monotheism. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Right? Tawheed, yes. It means, what was that? I'm really asking. Okay, so monotheism, right? It means to worship one God, which is basically the only thing that separates the original religions with all the, made up ones, the ridiculously made up ones, the ones that has, the god of rain, the god of ants, the god of gummy bears. I don't know, man. They just create a god out of thin air of everything. And even though most Arabs followed monotheism, and most of them followed what their prophets taught them, they eventually forgot. And after forgetting, they did the things that they were doing were something like they would seek refuge with these, idols. The word idol here is used for the statues they worshipped, right? If there's something difficult happening to them, they'll go down the statue. Oh, dear statue, please help us, these things. They would do this for the statues, even though the statue can't do really anything for them. In fact, we all know how Ibrahim is the one who in his story when he was younger, he broke all the statues that his clan worshipped and his tribe worshipped, and then he put the axe on the biggest statue and he said, look, the bigger one, look at that one, the biggest statue, he killed the other statues because he wants to be a greater god than them. And of course everyone was like, what? The statues can't kill each other, they can't move, they're just stone. So Ibrahim was like, oh really, they can't move, just stone? Then why do you guys worship them? Why do you guys treat them like gods if they can't move and they can't do anything? Right? Anyways. And of course, they also, one of the things they used to do to give sacrifices to these statues, give them your food. This still exists to this day, by the way. People do actually, I think was it Buddhism? I don't know. In other religions, people still go as to their statue and they would like give it food and give it. Of course, they all know, man. They all know that food is getting rotten slowly and the flies are eating it with the ants and no one's really touching it. The statue isn't gonna go, when it's at night, a cute anime girl with foxtail and ears not gonna descend and like eat the food, okay? That's anime, that's not real life, okay? So on and so forth of all of these things that they used to do. And I actually don't like talking about these things. Let's just skip. Let's skip. Wait, what? When the Meccas were in privilege, they would not enter their houses through the doors, but through holes they used to dig in the back walls. What? That is stupid. They used to do a lot of stupid things. I don't want to read about it. I'll skip. Skip. Let's get to the main topic of today. The birth, the lineage and family of Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, alayhi salatu wassalam. Of course, there is the second controversy is that beyond back to Adam. Okay. Oh yeah. Does anyone know the Prophet's full name? Does anyone know? This is actually very interesting. It's nice to know. It's like some trivia that not a lot of people know. Start typing the name before I start reading it. The full name. Full as in the fully confirmed name. right? No, you don't know? Okay. So, his name is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Okay, his name is Muhammad. Ibn means the son of Abdullah. You know, Abdullah, the worshipper of God. Abdullah is a name, very common name. Ibn Abdul Muttalib. Wasmuhu Shayba. Right? What does it mean for saying, and Abdullah was the son of Abdul Muttalib. You know, that's the grandfather of the Prophet. Wasmuhu Shayba. What does it mean? And his name was Shayba. Like, why is his name written Abdul Muttalib, but his name is also Shayba? It's because back then, nicknames were more often used than real names. His original name was Shayba. But it's because Ibn and Bin, same thing. It's because back then, people used to refer to people with the names that everyone around them used, not the original name. He's the grandfather of Prophet Muhammad, Abdul Muttalib. Original name was Shayba, not Abdul Muttalib. It's only because he was always running around with his uncle that his uncle named Muttalib, and the word Abd, you know, is like also referred to slave, and or like the boy, the slave boy to someone. And back then slaves were everywhere, so they always thought, oh, this little boy walking around with Muttalib was the slave of Muttalib, so they called him Abd Muttalib, slave of Muttalib. And it's always been recorded as Abdul Muttalib, even though it's technically, no, it is a bad name. You're not supposed to name anyone. Don't now name your son Abdul Muttalib, because Al-Muttalib is not a name of God. The only names that are allowed for you to say Abd and then something are the names of God, because we're all slaves to God and no one else. You're not a slave to another human, okay? So you can have your name as Abdul Rahman, Abdul Karim, Abdul Qawi, so on and so forth, with the 99 names of God that we know. Anyways, and I'll say it once for those who want to know, and I might even, you can look it up at any times, but his name is Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib, wasmuhu Shayba, ibn Hashim, wasmuhu Amr, Amr, right? Hashim wasmuhu Amr, yeah, Amr. Ibn Abd Manaf, واسمه المغيرة. ابن قصي واسمه زيد. ابن كلاب. ابن مرة. ابن كعب. ابن لؤي. ابن غالب. ابن فاهر. واسمه قريش. وإليه تنسب القبيلة. This is the guy that everyone, you know, is everyone who's a descendant of is you know, the last name Quraysh is because of him. Ibn Malik, Ibn Nadr, واسمه قيس, Ibn Kinana, Ibn Khuzayman, Ibn who was it? Mudrika, I think. واسمه Amir. I don't know, man. I have not read the full name in like 6 to 7 years. I'm sorry. Ibn Ilyas, Ibn Mudr, Ibn Nizar, Ibn Ma'ad, Ibn Adnan. All right. Oh, I finished it. Okay. Ooh, I finished it. Okay. Then let's talk about the of course, my hand hurts. I'm skipping so many things. Yes, we found it. Finally, this chapter, the birth. The birth. This is 40 years before the prophethood. This is 40 years before he became a prophet. This was when he was 0 years old, right? Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the master of prophets, as in like the best and the greatest of all prophets, and the last one, right? He was born in the 9th of Rabi' Awal, which is just, an information. It is not correct to do something like, oh my God, it's 9th of the Rabi' al-Awwal, let's celebrate the birth of our prophet. No. Muslims only have 2 Eids, 2 annual celebrations. And that's Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr. Nothing else, right? The idea that you should celebrate someone's birth is something that I personally dislike, but I don't dislike to the point of prohibiting, because I believe that some people take it further than some others people do. Why he got his prophethood when he was 40? Because every single prophet got it when he was 40. All of them got it when 40. So, no story about Zamzam and his prophet's father. We're talking about the prophet himself. We're not gonna, if we go into details, we'll never finish this book. Anyways, what was I saying before I got distracted? Yeah, birthdays. I like to refer to them as birthdays. It's just a day and not birth. In the translation of the Arabic translation of a birthday is called Eid al-Milad. They use the word Eid, which is something I dislike. Because if you use the word Eid, you're making a birthday of equal value to Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, which are both religious holidays that are, given, by Islam, by God to us, right? And those are very different things. The reason why people are usually told not to celebrate the Prophet's birth is because when you celebrate the Prophet's birth, you start getting closer and closer to a realm that the people before us went to, and that's the reason they are now currently away from the road of, Jannah, the road of heaven, right? Sirat al-Mustaqim. If you keep celebrating the birth of the Prophet, even though it's nothing special, okay, not saying nothing special, it's not supposed to be celebrated, right? You will start treating him a bit more and more than a human, right? And just like Christians did, they treated their prophet more than a human, eventually treating him like a god. And that's wrong. And that's why most of Christians back then were, punished, because even though Prophet Jesus told them, I am simply a prophet, I am not the Son of God. All these miracles I'm doing is the work of God, not me. Don't call me the Son of God. And told them, people didn't listen, right? In fact, there are people to this day who has been extra in their, love of the Prophet Muhammad, to the point where they say things like, oh, the Prophet is upon us. He is with us right now. We feel his spirit going down to earth. He is sitting down with us right now. Like, it gets a little crazy, okay? So, as everyone knows, Islam is the religion of medium. Medium is premium, literally. Dinul wasat. We don't go all the way to the left. We don't go all the way to the right. We stay in the middle. When you love something, you love it, but you don't worship it. The only one worthy of worshiping is God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So doing things like trying to celebrate the Prophet's birthday and things like that is the wrong direction to go into things. If you really love the Prophet, you should try to act like him. You should go, to prayer early during adhan, because that's what Luna, come on, man. She's always screaming. She's literally been screaming nonstop. I can't get her rest. Anyways, where were we? The Prophet's birth. His mother. Does anyone know what's the name of the Prophet's mother? We already said his father was Abdullah, who, by the way, died before he was born. So the Prophet was born an orphan. The Prophet Muhammad was born an orphan because his father died already before he was birthed. Yep, Amina. Amina was the name of the Prophet's mother, and his grandfather is the first one to, of course, meet him, since he didn't have a father, and he named him Muhammad, which back then was a very uncommon name. Like, you don't really say that name, Muhammad. Like, what? Usually names were more like the worshipper of the fruit statue. And I'm being serious, by the way. I'm not joking. People actually named themselves after things like that. The worshipper of the fruit statue, the worshipper of the thingy statue, the statue that worships whatever, you know. All these statues, they used to worship them to the point where they named their children after them, right? That's why after Islam came around, a lot of men changed their names. And does anyone know who was the first woman to suckle him after his own mother? Does anyone know? Every statue worshipper. That's funny. No, not Halima. No. That's actually wrong. I knew you guys would fall for that. No. I said the first woman. No. No, chat, no. Bad chat. Can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book. It's not Halima. No, it's not Halima Sadiya. You've fallen for the rat trap. It's the rat trap, chat. You've fallen for it. Seriously, no one knows? It is actually very uncommon because no one really knows that. It's not much common knowledge, but now it's gonna be, but after I tell you guys. Halima. Nope. Okay, Halima did breastfeed the Prophet. That is true. However, she's not the first one to do it after his mom. Alright, are you guys cheating already? Huh? You guys cheating? Don't cheat. If I catch you cheating, chat, I swear, it's a wrap for y'all. Don't let me catch you cheating. Is it written in the book? They don't say her name. Wait, someone said it. Okay, just to see that you're not cheating, say who she is. Who exactly is she? Like, where did she come from? Who is this person that out of nowhere breastfed the Prophet? Why? Who's she? Who? Tell me who? Who? معلومات إضافية كم مادة؟ مادة. You only learn about your Rasul when it's مادة. I cried, man. No. Someone was close, but no. Abu Talib? No. It's not Abu Talib. Nope. No. Oh, my hand hurts for no reason. Wait, we stopped here for so long. Chat, you really not know? Yes, Abu Lahab, finally. Someone said it. She was the mistress of Abu Lahab. Right? Abu Lahab being his uncle. Finally, someone knew it. She was the mistress of Abu Lahab. Right? That was the first one, and not Halima. Okay? This is some nice trivia for you all. Then, the babyhood. Let's talk about the babyhood, okay? What a twist. I mean, it's always that everyone thinks that Halima was the first one when technically she wasn't. Right. The first woman, Thuiba. No one wrote her name, right? No one said her name. Thuiba. Thuiba was her name. Thuiba. The mistress of Abu Lahab, his uncle. His bad uncle. We're going to learn about how bad. This is one of the antagonists, by the way. His uncle was one of the antagonists. Imagine your family being the enemies of you and of your quest to save the world. It's very, very sad. Muhammad's birth, just for you to know. Of course he did. Of course he celebrated his birth. It's just like I celebrated Luna's birth, man, as her uncle. Why are you saying just so you would know? Everyone knows it's the uncle, man. Why would the uncle not celebrate his niece or nephew's birth? Everyone loved Prophet Muhammad. They loved him. They favored him so much. The moment. So celebrate Muhammad's birthday is oh my God, what are you guys even talking about? Oh! What are you guys even talking about? There is nothing wrong when a new baby is born to celebrate. But every year and on that day to celebrate, that's something else. Anyways. My head hurts. I'm gonna bring out the baguette, man. I'm tired of lusha, meet le baguette.
신의 각조인 무다.
All right. Russia, you guys want Russia? I'll let Russia scream into your ears if you don't behave. Listen. Annoying. So, the children of Arabs, it was a very known custom, right? For children to be sent to the desert where Bedouins lived. We already talked about Bedouins, you know, the traveling people around the desert, and they always sent their children, Arabs, to the Bedouins so that their nurses, the nursery moms of the Bedouins, they would treat and I forgot that part of the story, but they would, let the children grow up healthy, away from the town and the problems of any town, honestly. Away in the countryside, you could call it, right? In a healthy surroundings. So also they could learn, how to talk and how to, all kinds of, think of it as a boarding school for children, right? That were the Bedouins back then. And they were very, very say-so, if you'd call it that. Back then, the Bedouin were known for being say-so. Nice language, very pure. They're not like drenched in alcohol with irresponsible adults everywhere, right? So the sad thing is that when the nursery moms, all these moms who come, it's like teachers trying to scout people for their boarding school. The moms went around Mecca's houses, collecting children. It's like you're collecting your stimulus paycheck. And one problem occurred is that every time a woman goes to Amina's house, they hear that her child is an orphan. So what do? They leave. Because they know that if the child has no father, then there's no one to pay them, right? It's probably a very weak household. They don't have much money. And that was true, because after her husband passed away, Amina wasn't exactly the most rich or anything like that. And so everyone refused to take Prophet Muhammad with them, the baby Prophet Muhammad. And there was one woman who felt sad. Like, she felt like, man, I don't care about money. I'm gonna take over this child. And that was Halima Sa'diyah. Halima Sa'diyah al-Murdi'a. Right? Halima bintu Abi Duwayb min Bani Sa'd ibn Bakr. Right? She took him. And it's funny because she was repaid almost immediately. Right after she did her goodwill. Some people call it karma, but it's not karma. It's just God, giving you a reward for your good deed. Right after she picked him up and, started living with, he started living with the family of the Bedouins, with other children. There she had a weak what do you call it? Goat, I guess you could call it a goat, right? A weak goat, and the goat wouldn't give much milk, right? It was so frail and tired. If you milk it a bit more, it will, right? It will die, like bah, 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 right? It's dying goat. And once the Prophet came in and tried to drink from the goat, because back then they wouldn't buy a bottle of milk. No, you have to drink directly from the goat. And once he tried, the goat slowly got healthier. What Mecca? The goat slowly got healthier and healthier until it's like a Mercedes goat. It became the best goat in the farm. Literally, you can see how that goat produced so much milk. It's like overflowing with milk all the time, right? And after that, she realized that, wow, this child is literally blessed. I'm so happy for this child. I'm just gonna keep him, even though he was supposed to be only there for how long? She camel. Oh wait, it was a female camel. It wasn't a goat. My bad. It was a camel. And oh, I need to focus. I need to focus. It wasn't a goat. It was a camel. It was a female camel. My bad. Wasn't it? Was it? Oh man, 1 second. It was. Was it a goat or not a goat? Come on, man. Was it not a goat? It wasn't a goat. I can't believe it. My life is a lie. It wasn't a goat, chat. What about the man? Damn, it was a camel. It was a female camel. All right, let's redo that. So it was a female camel, and Sad. I'm sad. I'm sad, chat. The camel is gone. I literally lost where the page is. Okay, maybe next time I shouldn't confuse a camel with a goat. Where's the page? Why is this book so big? All right. So as I was saying, wait. Oh, I forgot. Yo, let's redo. My memory is garbage. From now on, from now on, I'm gonna rely on the book, not my memory. So, I said that she took him out of pity, but technically, she only took him because they didn't want to go back without any baby, right? So, they took him because they have, no other alternatives. And apparently, okay, chat, don't be weird, but apparently, even Halima herself, wasn't lactating very well, and she couldn't sleep at night because all the babies that she took care of were crying because they were hungry. There wasn't enough milk, in her breast because she wasn't eating well, and even the camel that they had, had nothing to be fed. So also the camel was tired and couldn't have any milk. The female camel, all right, the she camel, I guess you could call it that, right? And what's the name of the camel? I don't know, man. Why are you asking what's the name of the camel? It's not important, right? And she says the moment she tried to breastfeed him, suddenly there was milk. Her breast suddenly produced milk. Not only for him, but even his foster, brothers. And even though the other baby couldn't sleep because if he always cried and everything, no, he slept easily. And her husband tried to milk the camel, and he had plenty of milk, surprisingly, right? And everyone enjoyed sleep, and he was literally. And it was literally the biggest surprise that her husband told her, by Allah, Halima, you must understand that we have been able to get a blessed child. She was like, I hope so. I hope he was actually blessed. And no. Yep. More and more good fortune came around for her, right? And even the donkey that she used to ride when she came to Mecca was almost like dying, but recovered and went back to literally turned into a horse. Blessing so big that the donkey turned into a horse. Well, not really. I'm just saying this to show how strong he became, the donkey again. And basically everything. They became richer, they became happier, everything became better for them. And they stayed for 2 years. But what happened is that, remember how originally she barely wanted him? She barely wanted to take this orphan because, you don't get money from an orphan. What she did that 2 years later, they went back to Mecca and requested from her mother. They begged her mom to let him stay with us a bit more. Because they knew that he brought them so much more good fortune and blessings. And they stayed and asked and asked and asked. Right? And, they were saying, no, we just don't want him to catch a disease by being in Mecca or something, And at the end, they were granted their wish, and the Prophet stayed with them more for until he was 4 or 5 years old. But the thing is, there happened something. While he was with after they got their extended time with Halima, his nursery mom, which is also another concept that non-Muslims might not know about. But if a child is breastfed by an adult woman, of course, a woman that can lactate milk, 10 times, as in like 10 what do you call them? Sessions, I guess. I mean, don't ask me. I never. Anyways, 10 times they become her son or her daughter by nursery, foster son or foster daughter. Meaning, if she has a son of her own, these two will be brothers, foster brothers, right? Same thing if she would have a daughter and she breastfed a boy. If they grow up, they will grow up to be brothers and brother and sister siblings, meaning they cannot get married to each other, right? It sounds weird. Oh, you can't get married, but trust me, it's pretty fun when you have a well, it's not a step sibling. It's more of a 1 second, chat. All right, chat. You're being extra funny today. And I don't mean that in a nice way. Shut it. As I'm saying, the thing is, when he was 4 to 5 years old, the Prophet was playing with his foster brothers, playing around, having fun, still a child. But Gabriel or Jibril, the archangel, the greatest angel of all time, the one that is so big, one of his wings, he has 600 wings, by the way, one of his wings can cover the entire sky, right? Didn't have a brother in mercy? Yes, he does. That's why I mentioned that, right? He has brothers by that. His name is Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, right? I think it was Hamza, right? Oh, chat, you keep distracting me, but this is important, so I need Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib was he was his foster brother. Oh man, he was a great man. If we get to his stories, man, an absolute Chad. Even the Chad word isn't enough to describe him. He was a man among men. Of course, he was technically the Prophet's uncle, but since they both have the same foster mother, is that the Hamza? Yes, the one that because of him we name our children Hamza. If you get the chance to name a child Hamza, they grow up to be strong. Trust me. Okay, so the archangel came down. Jibril, or Jibrail if you want to call him that, came down and spoiler alert, more like sensitivity alert. He ripped the Prophet Muhammad's chest open. He was a child, all right? And after he ripped it open, he took out his heart. And I know it sounds weird, but let's just finish. Then from his heart there was a small, like a little blood clot black thing, right? There was little something very small. And he took that out and he said, that was the part of Satan in thee. All right? Meaning that's the you could call it a little bit of curse, or the corruption that Satan put in the Prophet's heart. All right? So he took it out. Then he washed the Prophet's heart in Zamzam water, in a golden basin. And then he put it back. He put back his heart and restored it to its place. But the thing is, this didn't happen, like, it wasn't like,
The world, tomare Tokyo.
no. It didn't happen in a split second. No. This happened while the children were around. The brothers, the other kids, his foster brothers. So they were terrified. They were so terrified, they ran as quickly as possible back to their foster mother, Halima. And they were screaming, Muhammad died, Muhammad died, Muhammad died. Because they literally saw him lying on the ground, because his chest was split open, his heart was taken out. And wasn't Zamzam water? No, it was Zamzam water. It has to be. You must use the highest of quality of water to wash the Prophet's heart. Then it is said, by the way, that even after he grew up, there is the scar of where, I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but it is said by some people that the Prophet had a scar on his chest, where Jibreel split his, chest open. But the thing is, he was pale, like he lost conscious and he was pale. And when when his mother and everyone rushed towards him, they found him all right. Of course, he came back, but his face was completely white. Like, you would think he's ill with some sort of real illness, right? And from how terrified she was, Halima, even though she loved Muhammad and loved like how he brought her blessings and good fortune and everything, she was so terrified because of that incident that she brought him back to his mom, right? And he stayed with his mother until he was 6-year-old. But sadly, the mom, for like in memory of her late husband, Abdullah, she decided to go visit his grave in Medina, or what it was called back then, Yathrib, which is a bad name, by the way. That's why you should refer to it as Medina. She set out, and let me put this. I don't know if you could use Google Maps to measure this in like walking distance, but the distance between Mecca and Medina is around 500 kilometers. 500 kilometers is a lot, like so much that it would take months to go by foot. And she did actually. She went with her orphan boy, which is Prophet Muhammad, and with a woman servant, Ayman, which is her husband's mistress, or we wouldn't call them mistress, servant, right? And her father-in-law, Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather. They reached that place. They finally reached where the grave was in Medina. They visited, spent a month there in Medina. But, on the way back to Mecca, she had a severe illness and died. She died in the road between Mecca and Medina on the way back. And so begins a new chapter of the Prophet living with his grandfather, which is big, by the way. It's like he lived for a while with him, but he still really, really, really loved him. Like, loved him a lot. There was a lot of things that happened as well. So, we'll stop here. It's been an hour. Like from Singapore, well, I don't know how exactly that is, but it's 500 kilometers. That's a lot. A marathon is only like what, 18 kilometers? Well, a full marathon is 42, no? Marathon is 42. Yes, 42 kilometers. So that's like, how many marathons in a row? Wow. That's a lot. Anyways, for today, we're done here. We've talked until the Prophet is now currently 6-year-old, lost both of his parents. His father, whose face he's never seen, died before he was even alive, before he was given birth to. And his mother died at the age of 6. And now he's being taken care of by his grandfather, which, no spoilers, but also won't live for a long time, sadly. It is a very sad thing, but it really shows you that the people who went through a lot are the strongest people. You know, they do say if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. But seriously, the more we dive into this, if you don't like sad things, the Prophet went through a lot in his life. Every time anyone who would, you know, any of us in the modern times, or anyone at all, who would feel sad or anything, there's a good trick of, you know, trying to compare your sadness and your misfortune and the bad things that happened to you to the Prophet. And then as you try to compare, you realize that nothing that happened to you is even like 1% as bad as what happened to the Prophet. And then you realize, wow, oh, okay. Maybe I should, you know, calm down and be happy and grateful that, you know, that I didn't end up an orphan and I didn't, you know, spoiler alert, and bad things happen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did protect him, that's true. But he was not given protection from, you know, pain and suffering and sadness. He was protected from death, from being killed by these people. But other than that, there were days where he would tie a rock to his stomach so he wouldn't feel hunger. Right? More and more and more and more and more as we read through in this Ramadan. We will read through the story just to learn and see more and more about our Prophet and appreciate him more, because that's the ultimate purpose, to appreciate this human that is the role model of all of us. Muslims are not. People who aren't Muslim, by the way, still look up to the Prophet. He is known for like all of his good traits: generosity, kindness, the amount of Sadiq al-Amin. He was called a Sadiq al-Amin, the truthful, the one who like does not break a promise, that's trustful. Right? Anyways, that will be all. So see you guys next time. And yeah, bye bye. Assalamu alaikum. Remember to say Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Wouldn't it be funny if I say ayaya?